Hello.
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 Hey, we're only 5 minutes late with how late I was.
That's pretty good.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
take
take
it.
it. Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely podcasts that I watch on a weekly basis that say they're always going to start 2 hours before they ever actually start, so they just push their regular start time because they're just like, yeah, we're never on time.
Smart.
Oh
Smart.
man, yeah.
Not
Oh
here on OLIP.
boys. No, only I think the latest we've been is like a half hour, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's not
think.
too bad.
Yeah. So, question: we were talking about this. Me and Justin were talking about this a little bit last week. Tim, you can refute this whether or not, but is this officially we have made it every week of 2021 with an OLIP stream? I cannot think of a week that was missed.
I can't think of one, but like
It's official.
if it's official, it's unofficially official.
Yeah, well, because
We don't have a way to check that anymore either, because like there had definitely have been streams that we've lost because like
right,
Twitch is a bitch, but it's
yeah.
fine.
Well, the only time I could think of where we could have possibly missed one was when I was in Michigan, but you guys hit all 3 of those weeks. I remember that clearly because I watched
I don't know. I
at
haven't.
least the beginning of them.
I missed last week because I was in a hotel and didn't know we were doing it. But other than that, I don't think I've missed one since this summer.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations to us.
Hey.
Like, that's more because I know that for a long time that was one of our struggles was just
Yeah.
making the show.
Consistency. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
So yeah, you guys excited?
Excited.
Last couple hours of 2021 going into 2022.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings right now after hearing about Betty White, man.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean, here's where I'm at with 2021 going into 2022. Somebody shot a gorilla in 2016. Since then, it's just been a giant shit show. So I don't have high expectations for next year.
Did you hear about the tiger that got shot recently?
No.
Ah, we're fucked.
No, honestly, like this was more on the I mean, it was on the humans again. Some dude stuck his arm in the pen at a zoo to like try and pet a tiger, and the tiger was like, look, a snack.
What an idiot.
And was getting like he was like ripping I mean, I didn't watch the video, but read the description.
Yeah.
Basically, the dude just get his arm ripped off, and so the police officer had to shoot the tiger, kind of thing.
That's
I don't think this is gonna get us canceled, but I'm just gonna say sometimes you need to let natural selection take its course, and I think we're just interfered here.
Oh,
if you're dumb enough to stick your arm in a tiger cage, maybe I pick the tiger over you. Maybe
he just wanted to pet it, Tim.
I did.
What's wrong with that?
There's a lot wrong with that. When I was 5, I tried to. When I was, I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast. Have I told the bear story on the podcast?
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever told me a bear story.
Unfamiliar.
Yeah,
when I was 5, my dad fell asleep on the couch and it was just me and my dad home. I think I was 5. I might have been 6, whatever, right around that age. And I'm in the kitchen. I'm making myself a snack. And I look out the window and there's a black bear at the end of the driveway. Now, you guys know my driveway from my parents' house. It's there's forest or whatever. So it's just there. It's in the yard. So I go tell my dad, I'm like, hey dad, I'm gonna go pet the bear. My dad's half asleep, goes, okay. Then he hears the door shut. He goes,
oh shit.
Hang on a minute. So he comes out, and I'm halfway in between my house and the bear. And he goes, Timmy! Get back here! Get over here! Slowly! Slowly! And she had cubs with her. So that could have ended very badly. There may only be 2 people on this podcast right now.
This
permanently
podcast wouldn't exist.
That's ridiculous.
So that happened.
Or you could have had a pet bear. Who knows?
And I'm just saying, sometimes you gotta let natural selection take its course.
That could have also been the beginning of like a superhero story where the bear bites you and you get bear powers, right?
Right.
That's how it works,
radioactive
right?
bear, man.
Is that what happens? I don't.
That's how it works.
Bear powers. I don't.
So, out of curiosity, because we're just winging it, right? Mm-hmm. So, have you guys seen the new Spider-Man yet?
No, but I'd like to.
I would love to.
Yeah, I honestly feel bad for you because the spoilers are coming out more and more. I've noticed, especially ever since I saw it on Monday. So
I have seen a couple of screens that I was like, ooh, okay, now I know this is a thing.
Yeah. It's very good though. It is honestly. I will tell you, my favorite part of the movie is the ending because of the way they end it. It's very much if they want to continue, they can. Any of the characters, like any of the actors, if they don't want to come back, they don't have to. Like it's very well. It was this very well like tidy ending kind of thing. So I was
Smart.
very happy with it. Yeah, my wife was not. And you'll know why after you see it, kind of thing. But I was like,
Ooh.
that was clean. That was just clean for everybody, really. You know what I mean? So good. It's good. Good
Yeah,
time.
I'll have to check that out for sure.
You know what? Want to know what wasn't a good time?
What?
Watching Boba Fett last night.
Ooh, let's get
It's
into
funny because
it.
like I've seen so many articles saying, "Oh, they nailed it again," and describing it as a slow burn, and I would agree that it was a slow burn, but
Probably,
like,
I'll
yeah,
agree with that.
I think we all came to the exact same conclusion that like it's not that it was bad. It wasn't like, "Oh, this is fucking garbage," but it
No.
definitely wasn't good. I was very whelmed.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's hard to
Yeah.
compare it to like The Mandalorian or something, because first of all, I mean, they broke the mold with The Mandalorian, man. It's gonna be hard
Right.
to follow that up. But then beyond that, it feels like these Boba Fett episodes are gonna be shorter.
Yeah.
That's a disappointment.
I was
Yeah. I
hoping for the
When's
kind
the
of.
full
last time
like
you watched a
hour or so.
premiere? Yeah, when's the last time you watched a premiere for a new series? Like, even in
The
The
Witcher
Witcher,
2?
like,
I don't know.
but,
I haven't watched it
but,
yet, but
but what I mean is, like, even like The Witcher 2, it was still like almost an hour.
Mhm.
Um, we've been watching The Bad Batch again, the first episode because Sarah didn't watch. Oh, not again. We've been watching it because I watched the first episode with Logan, so we had to watch the first episode of that again. That's like an hour and
Very
15
long.
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even the Mando, I feel
Also
like
very
was
good.
kind of long. So like for Boba Fett to be 25 minutes was kind of like, eesh.
Yeah, it felt very
Like I
short.
wanted more. Like it to me, if you want to do a slow burn, do a slow burn. Give me 45 minutes of story and like exposition and setup where it's gonna go. I'm okay with that. Just give me 20 more minutes of Boba Fett and I'll be all right. And if you're gonna do a short episode for a premiere, it better be fucking action packed. But a short, slow burn isn't really a slow burn. It's just like what that went nowhere fast.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it really. I mean, it set the stage, but it didn't really go beyond that. Like, it didn't really do much. So I'm glad that I like where it's at. I like the setting and everything that they're propping up here, but they just didn't go very far with it yet.
Yeah. For me, because I'm not the local like epic Star Wars nerds, especially not compared to both of you, right? So like, there's things I don't know, right? Exactly. Like I noticed that they showed.
We're twins.
I
Twinning.
think I think they showed. I think it was in this episode that I was watching. I watched a few things yesterday. They showed a lady like sitting on the ground, and she had like markings on the back of her leg or something like that. Um, I don't know, but I was just like, oh, you know what? You want to know what? I think that was the Varkas video that you sent me, Tim. That you sent us, the Warhammer.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with what
No,
Mhm.
we're talking about.
Some
it
other
doesn't.
thing.
But, well, yeah, that is something else. But the reason why
Siege
that's
of
getting
Vax. Yeah.
yeah, the reason why that's getting confused in my mind is because you sent that right as I started watching. So then I stopped watching Star Wars and I watched that video. So it's in my brain like that. Anyways,
Oh man.
but yeah, like I'm not super into Star Wars. Like I enjoy Star Wars, mostly games more than any of their other stuff, right? Knights of the Republic and all this stuff. So for me, this was really bad to watch, right? The main reason why is because it's like for somebody who's like not super interested, like I'm not tied to Boba Fett, right? Like a lot of Star Wars fans are. He's a really popular character. Um, the one thing that I was
Wearing
like,
Boba
oh,
Fett socks.
well, no, it's just like normally that what keeps me into these kind of shows is the combat,
Mhm.
and like I don't know if you guys saw in the chat, I watched that first fight or whatever with not not to like overly spoil, but like the Shield guys or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, this feels super over choreographed. Like everything's slow. It doesn't look natural. You know what I mean? Like it just was like, eh. And I was like, oh God. Like that's when I got to the point where I was like, I don't think I like this at all. Because
Ye-
I'm not there's very little talking up to that point too. So it's just like it's a lot of picture. You know what I mean? So I was just kind of like, oh God. And then I finished watching it, but it never like fully caught my attention where I went, oh man, that's cool. Like, you
Yeah,
know, and
I
it's
definitely agree that the fight scenes that they had were not that exciting, and there were
mm,
parts where there's that part where it shows Boba and he's like got his helmet off and he like raises the thing and smashes it down and he's like staring off into the distance. Just
yeah,
like, oh, I did not like that at all.
I also will say, like, for a Boba Fett show, I tuned in to watch Boba Fett be Boba Fett. And instead, I feel like we watched 25 minutes of Boba Fett getting his ass kicked.
Right?
that's true.
There was
That's
some
true.
epic moments, like
Yeah,
the without spoiling anything, when he takes down the big thing, right?
yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about,
Mhm.
That was cool.
That was
like,
cool.
or when he fired off the little bird.
Yes, dude.
That
Yeah,
was
That
badass.
was
Like,
I
there were
laughed at
little
that.
things.
yeah,
There were little things that made, and even like, um, it was funny because there's when he says, "Fennec alive." I looked at my wife and I was like, he only needs one. And she apparently the character had the same thought. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. That
yeah.
was funny. That was cool.
That
There were
line
little
too. That
things.
was like there's some fun callbacks. Like that was like a callback to Darth Vader talking to Boba Fett when he's talking to all the
Yeah.
bounty hunters and shit. Like that was cool.
Yeah. And there are, I feel like because today actually, because my son asked me, he was like, "Is there a movie where Darth Vader dies?" And I was like, "Yes." So we watched at least the first half of Return of the Jedi. And so like we saw Boba Fett and the like get into the Sarlacc pit. And so now having just watched Book of Boba Fett last night, it made perfect sense to him, and that was cool.
Nice.
And like I recently rewatched The Mandalorian, so had I watched The Mandalorian directly and then watched Book of Boba Fett, or watched like Return up to that scene and then watched Book of Boba Fett, I feel like it would have been more fleshed out feeling. But it
Mhm.
just wasn't. It just wasn't.
Another
No,
thing is like in the Mandalorian, Boba Fett kicks ass. He's a fucking
Yeah.
monster of just ass whooping, and that's not him in episode 1 over here.
no. Here's my thing about the whole deal. As much as I didn't enjoy it, I'm a bigger overall fan of the Witcher series than I am Star Wars. And when the first season of The Witcher came out, I openly told a couple of my buddies because I was deployed at the time. I went, if this didn't have the title The Witcher connected to it, I would not watch this anymore. And that was
Yeah.
3 episodes win.
Yeah.
So there's still hope, right? Like I know I'm personally like really dunking on it because I really did not like this episode like at all. Like it was very bad to me. But still, at the end of the day, you've had The Mandalorian, you've had like we talked about Bad Batch and some other shows that it's trying to live up to. So the fact that it's not living up to it right out of the gate is a little bit unfair. But at the same time, it's just like it's got time, but at the same, I was not. I was very unhappy with that. I was like, this fucking blows. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to
I
watch any more of this.
I also feel like they, in this case, because the first episode wasn't a banger, did
Mhm,
themselves a disservice with the episodic releases.
mhm.
Because there will be people who feel the exact way you did, Cody, who are like, yeah, this one's not for me.
Yeah,
And if the second episode's great, maybe they come back, maybe. But
right.
like, that's the nice thing about like the way The Witcher released on the Netflix releases their shows is I watched the entire season of the second season of The Witcher in a day because I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
And I would definitely do that with Book of Boba Fett. I
yeah.
can't. And like
That's
now I have to wait a week and the first one was like meh. So like there's no
right.
I'm
right.
here talking about how it was just kind of meh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I was surprised it was only one episode too. Like when I pulled it up, I was like, all right, I got like 4 or 5 episodes to watch, probably, right? Because I was here at the house by myself. My wife and my family was all out at dinner. They'd gone to the movies and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, perfect time. I'm gonna sit down and watch this so I can be knowledgeable about this
Right.
conversation. And then it was one episode, and I went, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I wasn't
I
sure
was
either.
surprised.
I
they did the same
do
with Mando.
I do like the weekly release. I like it because it's kind of like I like that social aspect where like people can like discuss the episode and like be on even
Right.
terms with everybody else for a little while. But
Mhm.
I do agree. It was a weak first episode, and I think a lot of people will drop off unless the next one comes out swinging and people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Sir, sir. I'm just now noticing that your background's a little off today.
Who's?
Yours.
Oh, you like my little Solaire Vestora box over here?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
Honestly, you want to know? my first thought was though, Quest of the Holy Grail, and then I was like,
yeah,
that's
dude.
I was like, that's probably not right. That's
Same
probably
thing.
Dark Souls, right?
It took me a second to figure out why you thought that, and I was like, okay, no,
The
that's
big
fair.
sun, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
similar.
yeah.
I wonder if that was like influenced that design for Solaire. I'd be really
I hope
curious.
so. I hope so. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, Book of Boba Fett. I think the worst thing about it was like the pacing was weird. How they had like the flashback and then the real time. Like
Yeah.
that kind of threw it off for me.
It's funny. I feel like they could have done so much if they would have just included. So they showed him waking up in the the stomach of the Sarlacc.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that was cool.
Yeah,
If they
that
would've-
was a
It's
cool
good hook.
scene.
Yeah.
If they would have included him, like, because having just watched it again today, like he gets knocked out of the air while he's jetpacking and rolls in there. If they would have just included part of that scene into it, that would have lengthened out the episode a little bit and added in some. There are so many like little things they could have done, and I'm not trying to tell Jon Favreau how to make a fucking show. He made The Mandalorian. He wrote Iron Man. Like Jon Favreau is awesome. Don't get me wrong, but like, I have faith that the show will get better because it is Jon Favreau. But like, there were little things they could have done that I think would have made it just better.
Yeah.
Yeah. High hopes.
Speaking of Iron Man, just FYI, Iron Man is no longer the first MCU movie. Just
The first?
Yeah. So Iron Man was supposed to be like the first movie. The first Iron Man was supposed to be the first movie to start off the whole Avengers thing.
Oh, like
because
canonically?
Yeah, but because of Spider-Man No Way Home, that's technically not right anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't think about it until I saw a meme about it earlier, and I was just like, oh, yeah, that's fucking right. Oh God. Like, yeah. Tim probably knows what I'm referencing. I think because he's probably seen spoilers, but
I have intentionally avoided all spoilers.
All spiders.
But well, you can't go see Spider-Man if you're avoiding spoilers.
I can't go to work if I'm avoiding all spiders.
Ben in the chat. Thanks for the spoiler, Cody. Wow.
I'm keeping it vague. Honestly, I didn't realize it until after I saw the meme about it, and I thought it was super funny. I was like, wow, that's actually fucking right. Holy shit. So yeah, I don't know, but here's hoping more to Boba Fett. I hope it gets better. I need to sit down with my wife though, and we need to continue watching The Witcher. We've only watched the first episode from the first season because she's never seen The Witcher.
Got a lot to go through.
You know what I think would be cool, and I realized that we almost had like a Boba Fett game that was canceled because EA sucks balls. But like, did you guys play Star Wars Bounty Hunter on PS2?
Oh hell yeah, dude! I played on GameCube or whatever, but
like it was you played as Jango Fett and you were just chasing bounties, and it was cool, and it was like the level design was pretty. I mean, I haven't played the game in like 20 years, so like maybe I remember it as better than it was. But I think it would be cool to have another game of that style where you're playing as Boba Fett in like a more modern game.
Right. Honestly, that would be, I think, a perfect type of game, right? You're Boba Fett, you're a bounty hunter, you go hunt bounties, and then from there the game designers can just make up whatever the fuck they want and throw in whatever references they want. I could definitely see that feeling similar to like Jedi Fallen Order, where it's like you're in the Star Wars universe, but you can pretty much do your thing in there within that realm.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Like Warhammer 40K it, and hopefully it comes out good.
Dude,
Instead
if you make enough
10 to 1,
games.
yeah, instead of the 10 to 1 ratio of bad to good games for Warhammer.
So Star Wars games are generally pretty good. There used to be a lot more Star Wars games.
Yeah.
And then
true.
EA fucked it up.
Yeah.
So EA's license is no longer exclusive. Ubisoft is making an open world Star Wars game. I think it's the same devs that did The Division. They're working on one. I think that's right. Yeah, there's like that one that we saw from Quantic Dream. I think we could be heading into the golden age of Star Wars games.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a like MOBA style or like Overwatch style game that's coming out too. There's all kinds of shit.
Yeah, that one I'm not as excited about.
Star Wars Hunters, yeah, no.
Yeah, but like I could not be excited about it, but it could still be a banger because like most of the time Star Wars games are pretty damn good, and I'm hopeful that Star Wars is gonna have Cody, kind of like you said, they'll open up the license, kind of like Warhammer,
Mhm.
except I have noticed
Except it's
like
good.
most Warhammer games that aren't published by Slytherin, I think are bad.
Yeah.
Necromunda was like okay, but like if they're published by Slytherin and they're a strategy game, they're usually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just look. I hope for good things because I would love to find a Star Wars game or even a show that hooks me to the point that like really draws me into the universe because I know Star Wars has a lot of cool things about it. But I've never gotten that hook, like that initial hook
Mhm.
to just like get me into the entire, like for me to just buy into the universe as a whole and just like want to devour everything about it, like the books and movies and all that kind of stuff. Um, I don't know. Because I've played a lot of like Outcasts and stuff back in the day. You know what I mean? And those were honestly probably the best games that they've come out with. I think I don't know how many people would agree with that, but
I mean, they're
Outcast?
definitely way up there.
right.
Especially when you specifically said Outcast, you had my
Yeah.
attention. Like
Yeah.
Outcast is like my favorite Star Wars game
Yeah.
of all time. That the Jedi Knight series was like Academy, Outcast, Dark Forces 2.
Right.
Those are my
Yeah.
favorite games.
Ben
Yeah.
mentioning they didn't age that well.
No, they
What?
didn't. But they for the time, I was actually reading somebody talking about this today about Halo CE. You know, just for what they did at the time, right? And honestly, outside of KOTOR, what came out after that, like, wasn't that great in the Star Wars universe.
You don't
in
love
my
Star Wars
opinion.
Bombad Racing?
Just say, the only games I can think of that came out after KOTOR,
They had like pod racing. I'm talking about just
Bounty
kind of.
Battlefront 2?
Hunter was after?
Oh,
Or
Battlefront.
before?
Battlefront's a good one.
Bounty
Battlefront's a
Hunter
good
was
one.
before because Bounty Hunter
Mm.
came out GameCube, PS2, and these other games were Xbox games.
Yeah, but Battlefront is a good one. I forgot about Battlefront.
Then
But I
there
feel
was at the time they were good. Going back and playing them now, they're kind of painful. But there was the Star Killer games,
Oh
Force
yeah.
Unleashed
Oh.
and Force Unleashed 2.
those
Like,
those were okay.
You got to
They
mention
were- they're
Star Wars
alright.
Galaxies, which was
The
incredibly
MMO, yeah.
formative on that entire
Yeah.
genre.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there was BioWare's version of it.
Yeah.
The Old Republic. The Old Republic's fine. There's nothing
people
wrong with
like it.
It's okay.
People
Yeah.
still play it. They just came out with an
Oh my
expansion. I
god,
think.
Republic Commando. Thank you, Ben.
Oh yeah, Republic Commando was
That was
Oh,
so
shit.
good.
Yeah, Republic Commando. Was
that's a
good.
great game.
Yeah, I just for me it feels like it was like Outcasts, right? And then like he's right, Republic Commando, and then Battlefront, and then KOTOR, and then I think after KOTOR, I don't know if I played a Star Wars game again until the recent Jedi.
Fallen
Fuck, I always forget
Order.
what it's called.
You
Fallen
played
Order.
Battlefront with me.
Right, but I feel like
I mean, the
feel
new
like,
Battlefront.
yeah, but it
Really
wasn't good. Like that's kind of my
It's
point.
okay. Yeah.
Like
Not as
both
good as we thought
Battlefronts-
it would be.
Yeah, both
It was
Battlefronts that came out.
fun, but it was whelming.
Yeah, it felt like it was just
word of the
focused
day.
way more on graphics than it was on like legit gameplay, and it was more cool to like just be in the space necessarily than it was to like run around and like kill people. You know, the actual objective. You know, so
Yeah, I wouldn't
But yeah.
disagree.
I don't know. So speaking of games and shit that we like though, the only real topic we had for tonight was it's New Year's Eve, right?
Woo!
So
Woohoo!
outside, I'm gonna put this one stipulation out there because we both, all three of us, like both of these games. Outside of Valheim and Halo,
Oh, you're taking Halo off the
I'm
list.
gonna take Halo off the list because we talk about
Fuck.
Halo a lot.
Okay, yeah,
Don't
that's
worry,
fair.
it wasn't on
What
my
was-
list.
Ooh, I like it. What
It
was
wasn't on mine.
your top? We'll start. We'll see how many we can get through, but we're gonna
Sure.
shoot for 3 games a person. Top 3 games of 2021.
Valheim.
So get out of here. Valheim's game of the year. I don't
In
give a
case
fuck what
anyone
anybody
doesn't
says.
know,
Yeah,
Valheim's our game of the year.
yeah.
Yeah,
Top.
100%.
All right,
So, who-
Tim, start
who's
us off.
I'm gonna start us off. Panic mode. Okay. Well, I am gonna start actually with one that I don't think a lot of people are gonna talk about, and it's not a game of the year from. It's not a contender for game of the year from. But if we're talking about like 3 games that are gonna stay with me that I probably will play again in the future that were my favorites that I played this year, Chernobylite's definitely one of them. Now, yeah, I play Fallout style games. I play Stalker style games. If you put a post-apocalyptic setting on a game, there's a good chance that I'm gonna enjoy it. But it was genuinely a interesting story. The combat was kind of clunky, but it was all right. It was passable. There were systems in the game that were unique, and I think they did a really good job telling the story that they wanted to tell using those systems. It was an indie game, so it's not like this crazy AAA budget, and they with what they had, they did a really good job. So I'd say that's one of my three. That's for sure. Um, yeah. Are we going like round robin? Like now we jump to Justin for one of yours, and then we go
Oh,
back
sure.
around. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off by saying Deltarune Chapter 2, which is not a fully released game, but it was definitely one of the best experiences I had playing a game this year. Super memorable. Fucking love the characters, love the music. It's one of those things where it's like it's gonna be hard when it's fully released to like play through it again, I think. But dude, anyone who's ever played Undertale, if you haven't played Deltarune, go play it right now because it is right up there with Undertale. All the feels, all the fun, all the stupid jokes. Please,
It's
play
a
it.
sequel, right? It's like an actual sequel.
So I just
It's
looked it up.
unrelated.
It's
Is it?
Undertale's parallel story, according to the description. Here's my question: how the fuck didn't you mention this all year?
Oh,
I don't remember you saying anything about this game ever.
Yeah,
And then it's a demo, and you're like, "This is one of my best experiences of 2021."
I think I maybe.
I'm not saying it.
You guys
Be,
haven't
but
played Undertale, have you?
I've not. I've watched a lot.
I have
of
not. I
content
think
on
I
it.
own it, but I have not.
That may be why I
played it.
just kind of spaced it out from chatting with you guys
Right.
about it. I talked to Andrea a lot about it because she's played Undertale and she
Right.
played the first chapter of Deltarune.
I kind of feel like we have to like stream it now.
Oh yeah, dude, that'd be super fun. It'd be a good game to stream. It's like Toby Fox, the dude who made it, kind of made it as a love letter to like Earthbound or like what, Mother 3, those old games. So you're basically like this character walking around 2D, and in Undertale you have like the fights and you get into fights and it's all about you realize that you don't have to kill things and you feel bad when you kill these monsters, so you can start sparing them, but it's harder. So you're kind of like trying to do this balancing act. In Deltarune, doesn't matter if you kill things at all. You can kill shit. You don't have to worry about that. There's a lot less to like worry about, but there's so many like layers of like weird shit that's going on and trying to like figure out what's actually happening in the game. I don't know, dude. It's a whole mindfuck thing. It's really good. And the music is fucking amazing. So I just wanted to give that one a shout out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Honestly, I'd never even heard of it. Like not even once until you. I had to look it up on Steam. I was like, what the fuck? The fuck is this?
Deltarune, baby.
I typed in Deltarune and it didn't come up at first. So I typed in Delta. It was the first thing. I was like, that's
funny.
odd. Yeah. So, anyways, all right, cool. Well, for me, my first one is gonna be Dreamscaper. I absolutely love that fucking game. If you like roguelites and you like a it's a slow burn story for sure, 100%, because you like kind of as you're going through each time you go through the levels or whatever, you'll find different like memories basically, because it's literally happening in this female's dreams or whatever. And you'll find these memories, and it kind of fleshes out the story each and every time a little bit more. So it's almost kind of like an audio log. And then the combat's really good. The weapons are cool. And then when you're awake, there's a whole different dynamic of you just building relationships with these other characters in the game, kind of thing. Almost kind of like it almost kind of feels like in a Life is Strange kind of way, you know. And I've only seen gameplay of that. I haven't actually played Life is Strange, so I'm kind of projecting a little bit. But that's kind of how it felt to me. It's just very like top to bottom, just a very well made game. Everything feels balanced. Like I didn't have any complaints about it. Like it's just a very good game to play. So if it's ever on sale and you like roguelikes and stuff like that, easy buy. So
Nice.
What you got next, Tim?
So this one's kind of cheating because
it is.
it came out in early access a few years ago, but it fully released this summer. I am going
damn
to.
it.
I gotta go with Splitgate. I have to.
Yo.
I know.
I put a lot
I
of
know.
time into Splitgate, and I said all summer I was like, "This is the best Halo game I played in years." Until Infinite, like it was. I think it had a huge impact. Like it still is. It's not as popular as it was this summer. Like a lot of people fell off,
A
especially
lot of
now that
shooters have
Halo's
come
out.
out.
Yeah, but it's still holding solid. It's still a lot of fun to play, and it's a very quality game, and it still has that unique feel of like Halo plus Portals, and it's a ton of fun. If you haven't checked it out, free to play.
Yeah, dude.
Check it out.
Splitgate absolutely deserves a spot, man. That's definitely,
Yeah.
it's one of those games I'll keep installed in case somebody wants to play it sometime, because it is just a joy.
So I was actually like super frustrated that I couldn't put it, like I couldn't even nominate it under Labor of Love, which I thought was weird. Like nothing on the
Weird.
Steam Awards would let me nominate it. I was like, that's stupid because this is, of the games I've played this year, it might be my favorite game I've played this year. Just like it's the game I certainly had the most fun with. And like when I was playing games this summer, I was playing Splitgate.
The bat in that game. Oh my goodness.
It's so satisfying.
That is so fun.
Yeah,
it is more satisfying than a sledgehammer or than the gravity hammer in Halo.
In Halo
and that
Infinite?
is saying something to me. Yeah. So like, yeah, I love Splitgate, and I think that it deserves all of the love, and I really wish that they would have let me vote for it somewhere for something. So I'm voting for it here. One of my damn games. It fully released this year, so that's what I'm saying.
We'll take it. Yeah, so my next one is, this is gonna surprise you because you think it's been so long since this came out. The Medium.
Oh,
Me and Cody played through.
That's a fucking good one.
Or Cody played through The Medium, and we did a let's play of it, and it was so cool. You play as this woman, who is like going back and forth in between like the real world and this like horrible horror meat world. This horrible meat world where you have to cut through these meat curtains with a knife.
I was playing it with my wife.
Oh man. Yeah, it's a good thriller. It's like this beautiful thriller story, and they're just like the gameplay elements where you're like trying to escape that thing when it's chasing you, and trying to just like figure out how everything goes together. And it had like a really cool visual style as well. It all just kind of came together to be just a really great, solid game. Something that the kind of game that I don't usually go in for or don't really get into. Like I Alan Wake and stuff, like not interested, but this one really hit the spot for me. So I was really glad to see that it came out this year so I could throw it on the list.
Yeah, that does feel like an eternity ago. And I actually didn't think of that. That's actually a good pick. I'm not going to pick the same thing, even though I did really enjoy it. Just so we're not all picking the same shit. The other thing about the Medium, before we get away from that, though, it has the holy hand grenade reference in the newspaper in the first house. So that immediately makes it top tier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing about the Medium is funny is because like I remember having a really good time playing it and going through it with you or whatever. But I've seen a lot of people recently dunking on it, like saying it was really bad and whatnot. And I think it was because they had different expectations on what it was supposed to. I think they thought it would be more on the horror side than it was on like, because it's more like oh fuck, what the hell is that movie? Dude stuck on the Shutter Island. That's what I'm thinking of. It's more of a thriller than a scary movie. It's there to fuck with your mind. It's not a Michael Myers type thing, right? It's there to fuck with your head more than anything. And I think people were thinking more Michael Myers than they were Shutter Island.
That big fucking thing is scary.
Yeah, there are scary moments.
It is. Yeah, but I just, those are, like you said, they're moments. The majority of the gameplay is just like, what the fuck is wrong with her? And blah, blah, blah. And, who's this mysterious... She has a sister or some shit? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, that ending still, like,
Yeah, it's like super crazy. So, so I had a really good time with that too. I agree with that. My second one is actually going to be... And I didn't play a whole lot of this, but I really did enjoy what I did play. I just got caught up with other games and whatnot. Was Monster Hunter Stories 2. It is a very good game. If you like Pokemon and you like exploration, it's super good. And then you got, a good Monster Hunter story, like not no pun on the title, but like the story itself is pretty good. And then you got the armor and stuff, and it's all the stuff you like about Monster Hunter, and it's put more of a Pokemon type package type deal. I just had a good time with it. Like graphics are good. It's once again, it's just a super solid game. If you buy it, you're probably going to enjoy it.
I feel like
Can't-
there are enough Monster Hunters out there that there's like probably a version of Monster Hunter that's gonna click with somebody now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the
Yeah.
one what's the one that released on the Switch only?
Rise.
So that's coming to PC.
Yeah,
I saw the other day.
I own it on Switch, and I need to try it because like I started playing Monster Hunter World, and it kind of dipped my toe in it. It was my first Monster Hunter game, and it
Same.
was pretty good. And like I don't know, I've heard nothing but great things about Rise, and like I have it upstairs. It's sitting next to my Switch. I just haven't like
waiting.
popped it in and played it yet. Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I really need to get into it. I have played a bit of stories too, and I agree with you, Cody. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah. It might be one of those games I try and go back to before I'm playing Kingdoms of Amalur currently. There's so many games. I bought Wilder Myth yesterday.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
I
I heard that was
somebody
super
put
good.
somebody put that on their top game of the year list, and they actually described what it was with video. I didn't know that's what it was. Otherwise, I would have bought it like 10 months ago.
Right, it's like
Like,
context sensitive, like at this actual like adventure, like a tabletop adventure.
dude, you want to play single player D&D without it being single player D&D? It's this.
Yeah.
It's no joke.
wait
Almost
a
like
minute.
it's almost like taking Pathfinder, right? Trimming out all the extra shit and just turning that into just like a little storyboard, and you're just doing the combat, but it's so satisfying. So I'm playing on like the second hardest difficulty because I didn't really know what I was getting into, and within like the first couple hours, like the difficulty ramps up like immediately, like it's like easy, and then all of a sudden it's like a fucking like just, so I got fucked up really quick. And your characters can get maimed. So I have a dude with a peg leg. I have somebody missing an eye, and I have somebody else missing a hand,
Oh.
kind of thing. And it's weird because like the chick who's missing a hand or whatever, she went from using a bow to now she has a crossbow and a hook,
Oh my god.
kind of thing. Yeah, like it's super cool. And it's like an ever evolving story. Like if all three of us played it, it would all be different because you randomize your characters in the beginning, like RimWorld type deal.
I love
It's super good. But here's the best part. There's multiplayer.
No way. Is there?
Yes, there's a multi. I don't know how. I
Bro.
don't know if it's
How much
like
is this
super-
game?
It was $18 right now,
Oh, that ain't
and
bad.
that's why. Yeah, and that's why I snagged it. I don't know. I didn't really look into the multiplayer. I didn't even know it had multiplayer until I booted it up and I saw the option. And I was like, oh shit.
Interesting.
But yeah, like this is something we could all play together. Like it's crazy. But yeah, it's super cool. And I was really enjoying that. That's not one of my games I'm picking because I've only played it for 2 hours, and that was yesterday. But I was super impressed with what was there, and how it's how it gives you choices and stuff like that. And it just the story that it makes. All the art is like it looks all hand drawn. It looks really cool and whatnot. It's just it's good. It's cool.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about that one, a lot of praise for it. The only negative thing I've heard is that they said there comes a point where like you need to stop playing and like start over again, otherwise you're just going to kind of see the same things happen.
Oh, I'm
What?
sure. I'm sure because there's probably only so many like variables, right? You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, it's still I think once you get to that point, it probably turns into a really fun turn your brain off type game. And I honestly, Tim, I thought of you because it reminds me a lot of XCOM, right? You get characters that you get connected to, right? That can die.
Yes.
They can straight up fucking die.
The way you were
random-
describing it when you were like, oh, it's the closest thing to D&D is like single player D&D you can get without playing single player D&D. I was like, oh, that sounds like Darkest Dungeon. So like,
Yeah.
that does sound very up my alley.
Right. So the only difference being Darkest Dungeons, like that the line combat, right? This is your traditional like tabletop. You can move so far kind of thing. And the characters when you're in combat, they're all like paper.
Yeah, it's got a really
kind of
cute
thing.
aesthetic to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, you say it's cute until you start seeing the monsters. It's like, what the fuck? Why does that raccoon have spikes coming out of his back? Oh my god, it's a ranged character. What the hell? Like, yeah, it's really cool. It's but yeah, when I saw the video on it and they were like single player D&D, I was like, how much is it? It's on sale. Bye. Like,
Boom.
it was super easy for me to get. So yeah. Anyways, I went off on a tangent. My actual choice there was Monster Hunter Stories 2. That's also a very good game. Can't go wrong. If that's on sale, buy it. So
Yeah. It gave me time to scramble because you guys picked the two that, like, since I can't have Halo on mine, I was like, okay, I'll talk about this one. Shit, he did the medium. Okay, I'll talk about this one. Shit, he did Monster Hunter Stories. What other games have I played this year that came out this year?
It was hard to think of like games that actually came out this year. I definitely had to like look and be like, what did actually come out?
yeah,
I only have a handful of things that I can actually say left, and so I'm just gonna talk about them all and talk about why two of them are not my pick and one of them is.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's kind of funny because um the one of them is Necromunda Hired Gun that I'm gonna talk about. I haven't played a ton of games that came out this year, but Necromunda Hired Gun was one. Um, it's fun in terms of like a Doom style shooter. It's cool. In terms of a Warhammer 40K game, it's okay. In terms of like a good video game, hey, it's all right. It's not great. I like it's like a 7 out of 10. It's fun. It's a good, enjoyable game. I didn't beat it. I like put a couple hours into it and went, all right, I'm gonna play something else. And I've been playing Doom more like I've been playing Doom Eternal and Doom old like 2016 more than Hired Gun because if I wanted to play Doom, I'll just play Doom, and if I wanted to play a 40K game, I'll probably play Space Marine because the remastered version just came out. Which by the way, I'm also not counting. It's a remastered version. So that's not I'm not copping out by going with that. The next one I was actually surprised that Cody didn't go with this for me was Pokemon. Brilliant Diamond, and not because I'm a huge I've been playing it. It got me back into Pokemon, which was fun. I haven't played a Pokemon game that was actually new. Well, not that this is new, but you know what I mean. I haven't played anything newer than like Crystal.
Whoa.
In a
Yeah.
very
Which was
long
my
time.
first Pokemon game that I played ever.
Oh,
Right.
Jesus.
So like it's been a minute since I got into Pokemon, so it was kind of cool to learn about some of the ones I didn't know about. And I was playing it with Logan, and that was super enjoyable. But on that note, that leads me to the one that I'm actually going with because I've been playing it with Logan, but I'm actually probably going to play it myself quite a bit here, and it's Jurassic World Evolution 2.
Okay.
It's not my game of the year. It's not like of the games I talked about today. It's not the one that like I'd go back to Splitgate and play it if I was going to play a game right now. Well, like Jurassic World Evolution 2 is like it's a fun sim game. It really is. Like it's pretty well done. It's better than the first one. It feels more it simultaneously feels more in depth but also more streamlined. Like there's more that you can do, but you can do it faster.
Okay.
So Logan loves it, especially because there's an actual sandbox mode that you don't have to unlock by playing all these different campaigns.
Nice.
And so he's been going nuts with that, and like he loves to actually like intentionally let the T-Rex loose because he's a jerk. So like it's been a lot of fun playing that with him and like learning how it works with him. So the reason that I even mentioned Pokemon and that this one is my actual pick for my other top 3 game that came out this year that I played isn't so much because it's a great game. There weren't a lot of those this year that we're allowed to talk about anyway. Valheim and Halo are like my top 2. But it's probably the one that I've had the most fun with this year because me and my son are playing video games together. We were playing Battlefront 2, like old Battlefront 2. It's funny, we were talking about Star Wars. We were playing that earlier. And then we played Jurassic World Evolution today. And he actually wanted to try Halo.
Oh,
so
good.
It was interesting. But like that's the one we've played the most. Like he has a ton of achievements between both Jurassic World Evolution games. I think there was a month where I was like top in achievements, and it's just because he was playing that and Minecraft. So that's been a lot of fun for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
All right. I've got one more game here. Can you guess what it is?
I'm hoping it's
don't
not the
know.
one I
Can
want to
we?
say next. Because we played a lot of it together, so I'm curious if
Oh.
it's the same.
Ben, Inscription, great guess, great game. Not what I'm picking though, because everyone's talking about Inscription.
Whoa, okay.
Pokemon Unite.
Oh!
Pokemon
actually-
Unite came out at like the beginning of this year.
Is that not what you were gonna go with, Cody?
No, that was going to be my
I
first.
thought for
first
sure you were gonna go with Pokemon.
So,
we
I will
talked
say-
about it
We did.
before you
So-
got in here. I talked to
know.
Justin. I was like, he's gonna pick a Pokemon game, and Justin was like, nah, I don't think so.
Pokemon Unite, I did think about that. That was going to be my first one, and then I was like, you know what? I like Dreamscaper overall more. So then I was going to go with Pokemon, and then I was looking at my Steam library, and I was like, fuck, what was that other game I was going to talk about? But this works. You know what? This is going to work out perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Pokemon Unite, man. It's League of Legends, but Pokemon. It came out on the Nintendo Switch. It's come out on mobile now as well. Free-to-play game. And I was like, I'm curious. I've played some MOBAs, and I kind of like the format. Haven't really gotten into them too much. And it's because they're overwhelming and the matches take too damn long. Pokemon Unite fixes both of those problems. Instead of having like a tech tree of 1 million different weapons and armor to buy, you have 3 held items. That's it. How long are the matches? 10 minutes are the longest matches that you can play. Or you can play quick match, which 5-minute matches. So it's so easy for me to just be like, I've got a little bit of time to kill. I don't really feel like booting up the computer or whatever. Oh, I'll just play Pokemon Unite. I'll get like my 3 dailies in. I'll level up a bunch of shit, get a bunch of currency, and just have a good time. And like the matches are short enough that I can play 3 matches. And if I have 3 shitty matches, I'm like, well, half an hour. I'm going to do something else now. Or if I have a great time, I'll keep playing and it'll be sweet. And they're constantly adding stuff. They're balancing the game. It's just, it's mostly fun. The one thing that I do not like about it is bot matches. It will randomly feed you bot matches, and I'm not here to play against bots. I'm playing ranked. All I play is ranked. I'm playing against players because I want to compete with other players, and the fact that there are bot matches in there really just boggles my mind. That's like the only negative thing I'd really say about the game at this point.
Yeah. Just hearing you say the fact that it just randomly throws you into a bot match and you're not opting into a bot match, it's like, what the hell? Like when I first started playing League of Legends, like Cody got me into League forever ago because it was the only at the time it was the only goddamn game that I could play on the laptop I owned.
Oh.
So it was before I bought my gaming laptop, and like I would do that when I wasn't playing with Cody. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like play a bot match because I don't know what I'm doing and I need to learn. So like the fact that Pokemon just goes, yeah, you're gonna play a bot, it's kind of fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
It's one of the negatives, but overall, the fun thing about Pokemon is it runs great for a Switch game.
Yes.
It runs phenomenal.
Yes,
for a
the
Switch
menus are a little hinky, but the game
Right.
itself smooth as butter.
Yes. And the other thing is that the barrier to entry is very low. You don't have to know a whole lot about any of those kind of games, right? You just have to jump in. You have 3 attacks. And they just, well, I mean, your attacks get better as you evolve and stuff like that, but like it's not complicated to like figure out. And that was honestly my biggest thing about it was outside of it being Pokemon, and I know I like to do my Pokemon thing and stuff like that. I liked League of Legends back in the day when I thought it was going to be the same thing as the mod was when I played it on Warcraft 3.
Mm-hmm.
League of Legends itself is just a toxic mess, right? Pokemon Unite, while it has some minor issues like pay to win and stuff like that or whatever, jumping in, like you said, a half hour of your life to knock out 3 matches, maybe an hour for 5 matches or whatever. It's still a lot of fun.
Is also the best part. There is no comms.
Yeah,
The one thing we always give shit. We give Nintendo shit
That's
about
not
it all
true.
the time.
There is voice chat that you can opt into.
Oh.
I have not tried it. I'm fine not hearing some 12-year-old.
I wouldn't.
It's going to be like some 12-year-old who's just like has no idea about anything, or it's going to be someone our age who's really upset that I'm not playing my lane right and I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Pokemon. It's good.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pokemon, I was talking to Tim about this yesterday. I I'm regressing as a person, I feel like a little bit sometimes. Because I definitely went out and bought my first. Here, I'm gonna grab it. Here, hold on.
This guy's showing off.
My first set of Pokemon cards I have bought in probably 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
So my little sister's in town for the holiday, and I was helping her organize her cards, and I was like, I'm just sitting there, and we're just organizing them. I was like, you know what? I miss this. So I jumped on Slick Deals, right? And I was like, I wonder if there's just like a trainer box or something I can buy nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And Best Buy had 2 trainer boxes left. It's my sister's birthday in 10 days. So I was like, you know what? I reserved them, went down, got her one, got me one. They had a couple like of those packs that came with like 3 packs and a coin
sure.
or whatever. I got one for her, one for me. We sat down here the other night and we just opened up Pokemon cards.
That sounds
And
so fun.
I had a fucking blast, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, it's so cool. It's the original. It is the original gotcha, right? But like just seeing what hollows and stuff I got, I was like super excited. And yeah, so and then this brings me to something else I wanted to talk about earlier. There was a tin on sale that comes with like 6 packs on sale for $17. Packs are normally about $4 a pack, so it's like getting a free pack with the math or whatever, right? Yeah, good luck. It's like trying to get a fucking PlayStation or an Xbox. I mean, we're here on a Walmart website trying to add it to my cart. It's like this thing is in high demand. We can't add this to your cart right now. And just repeatedly, I tried off and on for like 5 hours.
Right.
Just like I jump into the app and just try to add one. I'm just looking for one, like whatever. 17 because it's like $18.
Big deal about that. Like people were getting crazy about Pokemon cards because of like YouTubers doing opening packs and stuff. To the point where stores were keeping them locked like behind glass because people were just being so insane about it.
Yeah, because I looked it up. The Evolving Skies, which is that box set that I have, the Rayquaza card, that's the most valuable card that comes out of that box set, is over $400.
Oh,
that's its worth.
And how much is the box?
That box was $40.
Okay, yeah,
it's literally 10 times
skins
the value.
look reasonable.
Yeah, well, the Mew card. So my sister wanted to trade with me. I got a basic Mew VMAX out of one of my packs the other day, right? And then she got the Evolution VMAX of that Mew. And then I got an Evolution VMAX of her Glaceon, right? That she already had. So she wanted to trade. It makes sense if you ever play if I was actually using them to play, then I'd be able to do that kind of thing, right? So I was like, all right, cool. So we did it, and then I was looking up the value of like my holographics because the only thing that's gonna have value. And that Glaceon I gave her was like worth $6.
Oh,
and the Mew is worth like $50.
Wow.
That she gave me. So I was just like, okay, like that worked out in my favor or whatever. You know what I mean? But she doesn't worry about it. I didn't need to. She wanted to trade, and I was just like, all right, like I'll give you the card you want kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was like, that's $50. Like that's worth more than the whole box.
Right.
Like,
yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Trading cards are wild. Like I play Magic pretty consistently. Like I go to the pre-releases and stuff. And it's really weird because with my friends when I used to play a lot, we would just trade rarity for rarity. Like, oh, I have a rare, I'll trade you for your rare. But now the way people trade is they'll have like an app on their phone where they check like the current price of things and they'll trade based on price. And the first time that someone approached me like that, I felt super uncomfortable. I was like, I don't want to seem like I'm I don't know. It just felt weird to me.
Right.
But now
I agree.
Now I expect that if I go to my local game store or whatever, that's just like the norm.
Well, excuse me. Yeah. Well, in the app I got to see the value of my stuff is it's called Dragon Shield.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Yeah,
I love Dragon Shield.
Yeah, it's super easy. You can just scan them, and it works.
Yeah,
so.
I scanned in like my whole rare binder for Magic the Gathering, and it'll send me email updates like, these cards are up this much, and these ones are down this much. It's like a portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and that's I think kind of what they've turned into. But yeah, I just had a really good time just opening up the pack and seeing what I'd get. And so I was super happy to do that. I almost went and bought some more Pokemon card packs the other day.
Dude, that sounds super fun.
Yeah, it was just cool. It was a cool thing to connect with my sister about. It was really what it kind of boiled down to because it's like, oh, what did you get? Oh, what I get? She's like, look at all the good cards you get. Blah, blah. I don't know. It was a good time. Yeah. But anyways, I haven't said my last game yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not Pokemon trading card game.
It is not Pokemon. I do want to mention this isn't a game that I would pick, but this is a game that I think some people would pick. This is very good, and that is Scarlet Nexus. It's on Game Pass. It is on sale. It's 35% off right now. It's a very good game, very good anime game, or JRPG, I should probably say. Along with like Tales, I haven't played Tales of Arise, but I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Kind of in that vein. If you like that kind of stuff, give Scarlet Nexus a shot. But my third game I'm actually going to pick, and I'm actually surprised you guys didn't think this, is motherfucking New World. I love New World. I love New World. That is a super good game. Yes, it has its issues, as all MMOs, young MMOs specifically do. But New World is a lot of fun. It's fun to explore. The lore behind it it's different, right? It's not your traditional, like your WoW or even like your Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, it's new. It's a whole new IP. Oh, excuse me. And being able to kind of like explore that was a lot of fun.
It is neat how it's kind of like a real world fantasy world where we're coming from the real world, going to Eternum, because you'll see characters with dialogue and they're like referencing actual like philosophers and stuff. Right. Kind of a neat take.
Yeah, that, and then it's steampunky, you know what I mean? But it was just kind of like, for me, it was just cool running around, enjoying an MMO, because the basic combat that you do is very well put together for the most part. Obviously, you have your balancing issues like you have in any MMO, but you know, it is what it is. You know, that's just kind of how things work. And I don't know. It was just, I had a lot of fun. I mean, I went all the way to 40 before I kind of dropped off, right? Because some other games and stuff came out. But it's still there. Like, I can always go back to it. It's never going away. And I'm just excited, like, as they balance it more, they've added that Void Gauntlet since I last played, kind of thing.
Yeah, a whole new weapon.
Yeah, you know, and they're going to just continue to add more, and they'll polish the game as they go along more, and just kind of, so it's really fun. It's just a good time.
Yeah, you know, I mean, as far as new games go, like New World came out, and they really did try to do some different things, and it was really cool to see that in the MMO space. And, you know, like you said, you buy the game once, there's no subscription fee, so you can just sit and wait for it to improve and come back and check it out whenever you want. And yeah, man, I mean, we geeked out about like how pleasant it is to just like go harvesting resources, go logging, and just like hearing that beautiful ambient audio. There's a lot of things that New World did very well, but there are also a lot of problems that it's had. There are. I think that we'll see it come back. It'll make some moves, and I think it'll build some steam throughout the year here. We'll see where it ends up.
Yeah.
I would like to just throw this out there, by the way, for people who might like listen to this later and be like, what the fuck, they left off this game. We're keeping this to games we've played.
Yeah, that's true. That is
so
true.
like, we're not talking about It Takes Two and like Deathloop and all these big, like really massive Forza, these massive, really popular titles that are out there. I played a little bit of Forza, but like, and it was great, but it doesn't make my list because like it wasn't my favorite. I'm not a racing game guy. Like, this is just like our personal games for us that were the games that are probably going to stick with us that like we played this year. Yeah. There's a lot of games I didn't play, so they're not going to be on my list, even though I think they're probably great.
Yeah. That is a good disclaimer that I probably should have used at the beginning. But I mean, I don't want to give out awards or personal favorites or recommendations to things I haven't actually played. Because that's other people. Well, most likely not, but it could be sometime in the future. Somebody decides to spend some money due to our recommendation, and then I feel bad if they didn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, if you want to hear our thoughts on games that we didn't play, well, give us the games and we'll play them.
Very true. We will play them. we will all try and find time to play those games, especially if people are buying them for us.
Real quick from chat, shout out to Inscription's OST from Ben. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Also banger tracks in there. Yeah, dude. Especially I think the second world where it's like robotic shit going on. A lot of good tracks in there. And Fearthane.
Second world?
I heard you talking about magic. It's addictive. Yeah. She's probably my friend who spends the most money on magic out of everyone I know. If you need help, You can just shout it out in chat. Listen, we're here for you. I understand. Addiction's tough.
Oh my god, excuse me. These beers are catching up to me. I need a silence button.
Silence button for the beers.
Yeah.
Were there any games that you guys have seen people talk about in reference to Game of the Year that you've seen and you're like, I don't think so?
For me, I've watched my wife play plenty of this, but Hitman 3, I've seen people talk about it as that as a Game of the Year game. I don't get it. To be fair, I don't really understand the whole appeal to Hitman in general.
Oh, come on.
I'm okay. I get it when it comes to like playing through it once, but playing through the same exact level, like repeatedly, sounds like banging my head against the wall. So I'm really happy that my wife really enjoys it, because she doesn't play games as much as I do. She's amazing, and she lets me sit down and play games more often than she does, kind of thing. But like I just watch her, and it's funny to watch her play. Like I was talking about the other day, she's running through the hall with a fucking sniper rifle, and I'm like, you've played this level 100 times. How the fuck don't you know where he's gonna be? Like I don't understand. But like it looks like it's cool and there's funny moments and stuff like that. But for me, replaying the same level like that by myself, like it's not a multiplayer map or something like that, just it does not appeal to me in any way, shape, or form, kind of thing.
Depends on the game. Like I can understand it from Hitman because like you can take different approaches. Like let's say this time you're using a sniper, but maybe next time you want to sneak around and try and strangle the guy or something. Like there are different ways to approach things. So I guess I can kind of get it. But I also am the guy who like will play an RPG multiple times with a different build just to like go through it differently. Or if thank God if they let me respec like in Kingdoms of Amalur, or like when I can respec into a different build and like fuck around and find out. Like I do that kind of shit all the time.
Fuck around and find out. Yeah, that's for me. I don't know. I just I don't know. I don't see the appeal. I'm glad people love it though. Like I'm glad that Hitman is still, because that's an old series, right?
Yeah,
and it's still beloved.
Way back.
That's more my take on like Hitman in general. It's just like I'm just glad that like an old head game has been able to have that kind of staying power.
Yeah,
even if it's not my cup of tea.
It's really impressive when they came out with like Hitman, and that was kind of like them kind of getting back into the game with that IP. And it did well. And it's really the gameplay, like there's a plot, there's a story, that's cool. But the way they design these levels, and they have so many different ways to tackle all of these objectives, and like the weird, goofy shit that you can do in some of them is really a joy and adds just like so much replayability to them. Love it.
I will say something that's underrated about Hitman 3 is that on the PlayStation there is a VR mode.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that isn't something I've been able to personally experience or see anybody else experience. But if you want to put me into Hitman VR, look, the only reason I didn't put Blade and Sorcery in my top 3 for this year is because most people don't have a VR head. Well, they do now because of this.
You still could have put it in your top 3 if it's a game that you are all about that you played this year. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not trying to like alienate anybody, because it's VR. I will say this. This is another random fact that I found out the other day. Fucking Oculus Quest 2 outsold the Xbox Series S and X this year by like 4 million units. Just throwing that out there.
I think the Oculus, the last time I saw the numbers, it was ridiculous. Like other than the Switch, and
that's promising, dude.
Honestly, if you don't have a Quest 2, just get one.
I'm thinking about it.
It's really like outside of the Facebook nonsense, that sucks.
That's like not even a thing anymore, is it?
You gotta email the support. Honestly, I haven't done it yet. Yeah, because there's like an 18-step process. That's the only reason why I haven't done it yet. Because you gotta like email support and all that other nonsense. But a Quest 2 is a ton of fun. My only problem with the Quest in general is, and this is just a VR game problem, is that it's in its infancy in a lot of ways. So like what I want, which is like really really cool single player experiences in like a fantasy world or something like that, isn't really there yet. Like it's just not a thing. Like it's not that it won't eventually be a thing, but there's only so many things you can choose from.
Yeah, there are only
And
2 games I can think of that would fit that bill, and they're both
yeah,
on PlayStation specifically. Stuck in
yeah,
that PlayStation VR space.
right. So honestly, Blade and Sorcery, when that gets its single player adventure mode, because that's like its next thing is this adventure mode, I'm going to shit myself out of excitement because Blade and Sorcery is the best combat I've ever played in my life outside of Ghost of Tsushima. But like, it's so much fun. It's oh my god. Dude, you can bitch slap people and they will fly like 30 feet in the fucking air. You can do it with a bowl. Like the
Oh yeah, the
physics are
bowl.
crazy. Yeah, it's so much fun. Chopping people. Look, I'm not a serial killer or anything, but like you dodging and then you like swiping and then you chop some dude's head off. Like yeah, bitch, fuck you. Like it's just too much fun. It's so much fun. Oh
Yeah,
man.
we do see advancements like Half-Life Alyx. That's a really good example of like a strong
Yeah.
single player entry. But
Right.
even that, a lot of it is just like the fun of manipulating the physics around. Um,
Right.
I'm really excited to see where we're at for VR come this time next year.
Yeah, I
I
think it's
hope we see
gonna.
some cool shit come out.
There are rumors that there's going to be an enthusiast level headset that's going to come out from Meta.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of having a Quest 2 and having experienced that, I'm actually not really, really interested in what that's going to look like. Because the Quest 2 is a very, very good headset, especially being wireless.
Mhm.
So when you're swinging around and stuff, you can not actually, be tied to a computer kind of thing.
Yeah, that's big.
So yeah, it's like it makes everything a lot of fun. So I don't know. Anyways, I went on a tangent. What about you guys? You guys got any games that kind of game of the year material that underwhelmed for you personally?
I don't. Well, I wouldn't say that, but what I would say is I have seen a game that I don't understand from a handful of not necessarily publications, but like just people that I follow on Twitter. They're like, Farming Sim 22 is my game of the year. And I'm not trying to shit on Farming Sim because, like, maybe it's super cool. I don't know. I've never played Farming Sim, never played Euro Trucker Sim, never played Truck Sim, never played any of those because I don't really understand the appeal of doing like real life shit in a simulator. Like if it's in a fantasy game, maybe, but like if it's for a reason, I don't know. Other than that, I don't get it. Like I think I have House Flipper because of Humble Bundle. That's not a game I will ever. Although there is one, there's a DLC
All right.
coming for House Flipper where you build a farm.
What about
So
Power Wash Simulator? Because I'll tell you
I
what,
don't
watching
get it.
watching Markiplier play through that was like one of my highlights of 2021. I loved
I
those
I
videos.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's
I
soothing. I don't know.
if
Just
people find
chill.
that people find what they find relaxing, that's cool. Like I've been playing. I was telling Justin earlier. There's this game. It's like $1.50 that I originally bought it on the Switch. It's called Akane, I think. Akane. I don't know.
Mhm.
Where like it's still top down arcade game. That's what I played to relax. Like it's
Where you murder
replaced
people
Kung
as
Fury.
quick as you
I
can,
murder people with a katana as fast as I can, and I
calling
try
them.
and go for as long as I can, and I get hit once and I die. That's what I find relaxing because reasons.
You should play Stardew. It's on Game Pass now.
He can't murder
I
people in Stardew.
You murder things in Stardew, not people, but things.
I think I own Stardew. I just have never played it.
Stardew, look, that's one of those. That's another one of those games that you want to turn your brain off and do some really relaxing things. Or I mean, maybe you want to go fishing. Moonglow Bay, also very fun.
Yeah,
If
I'm
for
not.
it's just like a relaxing thing. Like
I play like I used to play Terraria quite a bit if I wanted to just chill. I don't know. Like there, I definitely have games that I play to just relax. But like
right,
Not
Akane's
sim
been that for me
games.
lately. Yeah, it's not
no,
sim games. And if I'm playing a sim game, it's usually like a management game, like a Jurassic World Evolution or like
yeah.
Sim City back in the
So there
day, or
has
like
to be
and
option of murder somewhere.
I didn't
Uh,
say there
I
has to be,
I
but
mean
like
you,
yeah, there's
you
probably.
every once in a while you just got to release the T-Rex and listen to the screams. Is that what I'm hearing? Like, is
Listen,
that,
that's what Logan does.
Some
I try and keep the
people-
T-Rex in the damn pen.
Some people find screams to be soothing. Ben just now says, he plays Phasmo to relax. Pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up. Gotta say.
He likes the fingers.
he just says Halo Infinite sucks, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I'll champion that. I didn't like the campaign of Halo Infinite. The multiplayer's
like it?
good, but I could have dropped the campaign after the third mission.
I
was not interested in doing any of the open world stuff. I hated having to traverse so much distance to get to the next mission.
See, I enjoyed
think
the
I-
open world. I had fun
Yeah.
with it, but I also just like those kinds of games. So,
I did feel like the open world didn't it wasn't like an Ubisoft game and overly bloated, right? There's things to do, but you don't have to. You know what I mean? Like, is it repetitive? 100%. Like, don't get me wrong, right? But I don't know, like being able to step into like an open world Halo after all the time I spent in Halo over the years in a game that just thinking of the evolution from when I was 10 to now I'm 30, right? And just being able to there's no restriction, other than walking off the fucking map, right? Like I can just go anywhere. I can explore anything. I do. So I don't know. That was the overall appeal to me. The missions and everything, yeah, they're obviously repetitive, right? You know what I mean? But I did like the way. Actually, I don't think we've talked about this since I beat it. I did like the way they tied the story, right? Like they tied up the story in a way where Cortana is a bad guy, but try to kind of redeem herself type deal, because I don't really know the events from Halo 5 type deal. So it's just kind of well, Tim does because he was a brave man and he went
I
through and played it.
still don't. It's
It doesn't really
It didn't make
make
any
sense.
goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really I agree with you, Cody. I really like the way that they wrap things up because it was kind of like I said a few weeks ago. The way that they set it up, they didn't undo what Halo 4 and Halo 5 did with the story. They didn't disregard it. They didn't chuck it out the window. It still happened.
Yeah.
But now they can totally ignore it moving forward.
Correct.
With new stories, so it doesn't fucking matter, and I love it.
The Halo campaign for Infinite kind of reminded me of the Book of Boba Fett. There's not much there, and you're not really being much of a badass.
Yeah.
I felt like the wimpiest Master Chief playing this game. Even playing on normal, I got my ass kicked all the time.
I'm curious how you would feel about playing on Legendary then, honestly.
I think I'd hate it.
Yeah, I think you would, because I died a lot, but I never was really. There was only a couple times I got frustrated, and that was fighting things like hunters, right, or like a brute with a gravity hammer type thing, and just being able to trying to figure out really how to navigate that singular issue. Honestly, the brute with the gravity hammer for the last wave, in the final boss
The
fight,
one that chases you and instantly kills you.
Yes,
fucker.
Yes. So that was the hardest part of the game for me, was that particular portion. Other than that, everything else was more about just really attacking a situation a certain way. But the thing about that brute gravity hammer guy, he will spawn in different spots on the map depending on where you're at. So you can't really plan it out kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not
there's
scripted
a little
to
bit
a
of
specific set of things.
Right. So there's a little bit of luck involved with all that, which I didn't really enjoy. But overall, I don't disagree with you, but the thing that I think is going to be different about this, people may not like it now, not like me anyways, right? I enjoyed it. But like they said, they cut out 2/3 of the content. And the way it ends definitely leaves it open ending for more content, like I've been kind of speculating a little bit, because you can see the other areas while you're running around the map. And then the legendary ending post credits, they show another brute kind of thing. Yeah, there's because for legendary engines, it's always something different kind of thing. So they show another brute of who your next opponent is basically going to be going forward, because at the end of the day, the Banish overall still control the ring, right? So there's going to be more content. I think You're gonna all the things that people have a problem with right now, like the lack of biomes and stuff like that, or whatever. I think you're just gonna see it added on, and it's gonna be polished. And so when it might take 3 or 4 years, but I think at the end of the day, when the whole thing comes out, I think it's going to be a very well made, structured campaign based off what we got for this first chunk, kind of thing. And if you have Game Pass, you're probably gonna get it all for free.
I hope
You
so.
know what I mean? So there's
I mean,
no
we
real
will,
like
right?
real. I mean, you would think. I
First
mean, with
party, everything first party is free on Game
right,
Pass now.
right.
Not everything. So, well, like say for example, Wasteland 3. DLC is not free. You have to buy it.
Okay. So yeah, that's a big
Outer
question
Worlds.
for Halo. Is
But
it going
I
to
think
release as DLC or are they going to package it?
I think it's a little bit different because Wasteland 3, like what it released with, was its whole thing. It didn't chop. Well, as far as we know, it didn't chop 2/3 of the vision out for the campaign. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well,
But
So-
I still think that it's a common. I'm not saying that 343 chopped it out to sell it back to you, but it
Right.
is a very common thing for AAA games to do exactly that.
No, it is. I don't disagree. And honestly, if I have to pay for that, I'm not probably going to complain. What is it? $15 probably. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Unless
we'll
they
see.
go the Destiny 2 route where every expansion's $40. If they may ask me to pay $40 for a campaign expansion, I will be pissed.
They
I
have definitely
wouldn't
been
blame you.
mirroring Destiny in a lot of ways, looking at the monetization for multiplayer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I it does concern me, and I love the bones of Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
I strongly disagree with the statement that it sucks. Not because there are issues with the campaign, and I completely agree with you, Justin. The pacing's weird. The open world does feel a
Pacing
little
is
weird, but like I enjoyed the open world for what it was, and I just like running around shooting grunts and everything like
Yeah.
willy nilly.
All
Like
the
that was cool.
dialogue of the enemies.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my
The
god.
propaganda towers,
Mhm.
so good.
I got the skull that
The rare
rare
dialogue.
dialogue happens more often, and
I would have
it's
been
so
your
good.
daddy.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then the other thing that I think makes me say that I disagree is the multiplayer is just so good. It is
Yeah.
so good.
I
I
haven't
don't
played it
like
a lot lately,
the
but yeah.
monetization. The season pass is dumb. I literally like played for I think 3 hours today, and I advanced like 1.5 levels in the season pass. Like that's kind of an issue, but I still had fun. So I don't know.
So Ben's
right
over
back.
here saying that the core gameplay is the same as it was 20 years ago, but I think that's kind of
Disagree.
well, I don't necessarily disagree with that, right? Because I mean, the core gameplay, it's a shooter. That's just what it is. Him comparing it to Madden and FIFA. Well, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a football game or it's a soccer game. Like that's just what it is. Like I don't know. I can't really think of a game that like deviates from the genre like that. You know what I mean? Like there's Halo Wars, if that's like the main issue, is if the issue is that it's still a shooter, they have deviated from it being a shooter. There's two whole games, you know what I mean, where it's an RTS instead. So I don't really, I guess I don't really understand that argument. Because yeah, it's the same, but it's also the same game that revolutionized the FPS genre. So people are going to love it. Like
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think there's nothing wrong with people not like if you're not into Halo, you're not into
Yeah.
Halo. That's fine.
That's fine.
I'm
yeah.
not into Madden or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just don't play Madden games. And yeah, each Halo is not like revolutionarily different.
Mhm.
Well, two felt like it when they added dual wielding.
That's
but,
true. Dual wielding was a good time.
Each one kind
Wish
of
they'd
has
bring
its
it back.
own changes. I don't want
Yeah.
to ever see that come back.
I love dual wielding SMGs. Actually, you know what? If they
What
could
if
just
you
do me
only
the
have
favor,
one though? Then you just
well then
the
yeah,
balancing
that's
was
not-
all crazy.
Yeah, if they could just bring back the silenced SMG from ODST, I think I'd be extremely
That'd be
happy.
great.
I'm
As
just saying.
someone, I will say, as someone who recently played ODST's campaign a bit, I didn't play all the way through it. Same with Reach, and then I played Infinite. It feels drastically different. It's small steps over time. Yeah, if
Mhm.
you look at 5 to Infinite, no, it's not a ginormous leap. If you look at 4 to 5, it's not a ginormous leap. Reach to 4, all the way back, yeah, it's small steps. But if you go from ODST or Reach to Infinite,
Yeah.
you feel those steps being gone.
Right.
Like it plays closer to Destiny than it does Halo 3 at this stage. And that's I mean, the genre has evolved. I completely agree with that. But like Madden has been the same game every year since 2013. Like literally. And you go back, Madden's always been kind of the same game, but it's literally been the same game. Copy pasted. So like I don't know. It's a different
Right.
problem.
You don't have new vehicles, you don't have new physics engines doing cool stuff. I hear that.
Yeah, I hear that. That's definitely true, but like the gameplay mechanics have been tweaked enough that it doesn't play the same anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm just reading what Ben's saying in the chat. So he's saying, how many Halos do we need? If they stop making Halo right now, people would still play it for years and years. They could do a remake like every 5 years. But man, I'd love to see what these guys could come up with if they pointed their creativity to something totally new. It might be even better than Halo. Okay, well, the original
Bungie
team
tried
did
that.
point their original team
That's
did point their
Destiny.
creativity somewhere new, and it was Destiny and Destiny 2, which I'm going to be honest are the most monetized games I've ever played, and they're not good until they've had 2 expansions come out. So I don't know. Like that's not always great. 343 though was built or was made, that whole company was made to just push out Halo.
Yeah, they would not exist without Halo. Like literally, this studio, Microsoft made 343 because Bungie left, and they're like, okay, we still want to have a franchise that is kind of our flagship.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And the other thing about this is, you mentioned 5. They could remake one every 5 years. Well, it has been 5 years since Halo 5 released. It came out in 2016. So I mean, like your point is still there.
Schedule.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. People. The problem is that Halo and any other game, any other franchise like it, is going to continue to be made as long as people want to see more stories about that character, right? Same thing with God of War, right? God of War has been around almost as long as Halo, but people clamor. They're clamoring for more God of War. Same thing with The Last of Us. People want more Last of Us. I'd love to see another Ghost of Tsushima game, right? Just kind of see where that goes, type deal. Like they kind of end it like there's a lot of finality to Ghost of Tsushima type deal, but I mean, there's still like if they could make another game that's like it's just in that world, I'd be super excited. So I know it can seem kind of like money grabbing and stuff to continue to make in the same like realm. You know what I mean? But people want to see more Master Chief. People want to see more. I don't know, fucking. Well, a lot of people want to see more Destiny for a long time because Nathan Fillion was the one character until spoiler alert. This is kind of old though, but until he dies in Destiny 2, kind of thing. So it's just like,
how dare you, sir? That happened like 4 years ago. What the?
Yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, that's kind of the overall thing about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Halo Infinite, it really does lay out good groundwork to do something cool moving forward. There was nothing terribly iconic about Infinite's campaign. The multiplayer has a solid start, but there's a lot that they have to add. Right now, if I were to choose between MCC and Infinite, I would absolutely choose MCC. Like, it is in such a pristine state. They've got so much more to the multiplayer. They've got all the campaigns in there. Amazing product. Hopefully Infinite can get up to that level. But Ben does mention talking about he's kind of waiting for the next great game to come out. Do you think there will be another like big game that captures the attention of the world the way Halo did back in the day? Or is that kind of a bygone era?
100%. No, I think there will be, right? I mean, honestly, you can make the argument it was New World. It has the highest concurrent player count. No, it has the highest concurrent player count in Steam history. It had almost 1 million concurrent players, which is
and then
well, it did, like any player base. But I'm just saying, like you're looking for the next great IP. I mean, you could make an argument. There's been plenty of great IPs. What about fucking Dark Souls?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like
there's
been plenty of.
So it did not have the highest concurrent player count of all time on Steam.
I just heard that the other day.
You heard incorrectly.
It made it to the top of the charts.
It's top 5. So the
Okay.
list in order goes PUBG, CS:GO,
PUBG.
Dota 2, Cyberpunk, New World, Valheim. Then wouldn't have guessed this. Glad to see it on
CS:GO?
there. No, CS:GO's number 2.
Oh, okay.
Mount Blade.
It's Terraria
Oh.
is number 7.
I didn't think that.
Terraria.
But, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't understand. There's been a lot of great IPs that have came out since Halo. You know what I mean? Like original IPs too. Valheim, totally original. You know, I don't know.
Okay, Ben.
I mean,
So it
Ghost
sounds
of-
like
Ghost of
Ben's
Tsushima.
looking for something new, and I mean,
Well, Elden Ring, but does Elden Ring not count just because it's technically going to be basically Dark Souls 4?
I think he means like new mechanics, new ideas. Like that's hard, man, because so much has been done. I think that's the hardest thing for the games industry is coming up with new ideas.
I would say if you're looking for that, the only game that I can think of that can make that. Yeah, well, one it's going to be VR is probably the next step for real. But the game I keep hearing about, and this is honestly only from Skillup, but it's been his game of the year for 3 years running, and it's Outer Wilds. And I watched his video on it today, and he said in his video that literally no other game is doing what Outer Wilds does. Not a single game out there. So if that's what you're looking for a game that is entirely new, that doesn't have anything that copycats or anything. I haven't played it myself, but from him, he's saying that he can't even fully tell you anything about like the new DLC or anything that came out or whatever, because if he tells you about it, the way he said it is, if I tell you about this, it'll take away that moment, and there's no other moment that can replace that in any other game that is on the market today. So,
yeah,
if that's what you want, but I don't think it's going to capture people in the way like Halo did. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Outer Wilds has been out for 3 years.
I think there will always be new iconic games
Right.
that define new genres, but they're few and far between, and that's for sure. And then you're gonna have games that come along on occasion and do it better than other games. Like Valheim, I would say, is probably going to be iconic for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it's not even close to 1.0.
Right, it's going to stick with people for a long time. And there are games like that, but like, is there going to be a game on the scale of Halo? No, Halo wasn't the first FPS, but it's the one that made multiplayer a thing. It's the one that brought
It brought it to consoles.
Brought it to consoles. So like, there's always something revolutionary. Some people would argue that Fortnite is the latest one of those games. I'm not saying that I agree that it's a good game. Like, I don't think it is, but like for a lot of people, it is. For a lot of people, it's the best game ever. So like, that always happens. It's just, what's your definition of an iconic game?
Well, and also kind of what's your gaming generation, right?
Yeah.
Halo came out when we were 10, right? Fortnite came out for some people when they were 10. So when they're our age kind of thing, they're going to look back on it fondly and stuff. And we're like, God damn, those fucking 10-year-olds are annoying as shit. I'm never playing this goddamn game
Infinite is the best Fortnite yet, because they really fucked up Fortnite 5.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I do agree, but I do think that if you want to find that next completely like encompassing, it's going to encompass the world, it's going to have to be in VR, where it's really going to like break boundaries and stuff like that or whatever. Because that's the only, like I was talking about earlier, it's obviously in its infancy if you go and look at their Play Store and stuff like that. Whether it be on the Oculus headset itself, because you can download onto the headset and play games directly through it, or even just go look through Steam VR, like just the games that are available, right? All of them are honestly basically like tech demos for a lot of them. There's a couple, like Lost Echo is like a full-blown game. And then there's like Heavenly Wrath, I think is what it is, which is the Norse game that I'd like to play at some point. Half-Life Alyx. But like it's really like a handful that are like narrative-driven, like fully fleshed out games kind of thing. Or you'll have like super realistic games like Onward kind of thing, which is a big time like hyper realistic military shooter in VR kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like there's games like that, but I don't think there isn't a game on the level of like a Halo or anything like that. Like not yet. It's gonna happen. Like, there's gonna be a game that comes out that everybody's just gonna absolutely lose their shit. They're gonna go out and buy whatever VR headset they can get their hands on so they can play it, kind of thing. And it's gonna encompass the world, but it's not. It's. I think we're probably about 3 years away from that, honestly, when we get that first like really, really, really big game, because it's
I
not
don't
just
think
a
it's that
game.
far off.
I do, because I don't. I still think there's a lot of people who don't believe in VR. Like it became very popular this Christmas, right? They sold 10 million units this year, right? But that's just the Quest. Like, there's obviously other VR headsets out there. I think like none of these big developers support a VR game. EA doesn't have a VR game. Activision does not have a VR game. Like, some of this comes down to money and being able to push out something like that, you know?
Yeah,
So,
there hasn't been a VR title yet that everyone knows about, everyone's talking about, people are buying VR to get it. There just hasn't been something that powerful yet.
VR, I know you're saying VR is also insanely expensive. Like, Quest 2, 126 gig is like $300, which isn't like cheap, but it's not
no
that
Valve
expensive.
Index.
Right. It's not $1,000 kind of thing. Like,
There are also ways, I know because I've done it. It doesn't work super well the way that I have my setup right now, but there are some setups that work way better than mine that you can do with like leftover tech stuff that you have. Like I use you can use a Kinect camera. You just have to buy like a $20 piece of software to make it work with your like a headset. There are cheaper headsets you can get. Like there are ways to make it work.
Yeah, it's becoming more affordable.
Yeah, and just to compare, an original Xbox when it released was $300. So it's not like this is like it's the cost. I mean, you might not like a Quest because of the meta integration and all that kind of stuff or whatever, but there's an avenue to get into VR now, because that was one of my big things for a long time. I looked at buying a VR. I looked at buying an Index about a year ago, and I was like, man, I just can't justify $1,000. And then on top of that, you gotta buy like the pulley system kind of thing,
right? Because
and
you've
hook
got
it
the
up.
cords, yeah.
Right. You know, so that's why the Quest 2 is kind of like my go-to or whatever. When I finally decided to jump into that, I was just like, the wireless was a big thing for me, kind of thing. And there's still issues with it, right? Like, Bluetooth audio works, but it's delayed. Like, so if I'm playing Blade and Sorcery, I don't really notice that, but it could definitely like be better. That's for sure. You know, so like I said, I think I still think we're a few years away from like that really big game that's gonna come out and everybody's gonna be like, you got to play this, like a Sword Art Online anime, you know, like in that where everybody's buying that fucking game kind of thing. So yeah, but it'll be fun.
It'll be Robot.
Did he die?
a little
It'll
bit.
be fun.
It'll be fun when the internet takes over.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, hi, welcome back.
Yeah, I can hear you. I saw it. It said I disconnected out of nowhere there for like 10 seconds. So I don't know.
You died.
Yeah, that's okay.
Rip.
It's okay.
But yeah, VR is going to become bigger and better and more accessible. And I think that is where we're going to see the next big, like, culturally relevant video game pop up.
Right. It'll be fun though when it gets here. I'm curious what kind of game it's going to be.
It's going to be an MMO, dude. It's definitely going to be an MMO.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 100%. I think it's going to be an MMO.
Yeah, something that's going to take people out of their real world, and people are going to freak out about it, and it's going to be a whole thing.
There's a game right now. Fuck, I'm trying to remember that. I bought it. A Township Tale. I haven't really gotten into it yet, but it's like a mini MMO or whatever. But basically, you get dropped into a server, right? And you play with other people, and your whole goal is to build up a town, kind of thing. And you can go out and like adventure. Or you can become a blacksmith, and you can like do all this little stuff or whatever.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
yeah, it's super cool.
Brittany and Shane were telling me about this.
Yeah, like if I had people that I could play this like a couple times a week with, I'd definitely play it more often because it's fucking $10. Like, it's cheap as shit. And so, but like, it looks like it has a lot of like cool things you can do with it or whatever. And there's combat, and like it's got everything you could want really out of like a little mini MMO. So yeah, it's just it's a good time. But if you just want to kill shit, Blade and Sorcery, you can't beat it. I'm telling you, Blade and Sorcery is some of the most fun I have had in a video game in a long time. It's good. It's real good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, anyways, boys, we want to continue. We're gonna go all the way to midnight here, or we want to play some games, like.
Well.
Or do you just want? Are we done for the night? That good? That it?
I will. If you guys want to play games, I have to step away for about 20 minutes, but then I'll be back.
All right, yeah, let's shut it down. Everyone go celebrate your New Year's, and then maybe I'll see you guys afterwards. We'll see what's up.
Okay, sounds good. Any closing thoughts?
I hope 2022 is a better year for video games because, like, I really hope that, like, it's not like there were not good games that came out this year. There's just the list is much shorter than it has been in the past. A lot of things got pushed into 2022. Dying Light 2. February is going to be stupid busy with all those games coming out. Going all the way to November with Starfield coming out. I'm hoping to have a much lengthier conversation this time next year about games in 2022. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Plan your budget now. Plan your budget now because there are a lot of fucking games that are coming out next year. A lot of good ones. So look ahead, figure out what you want to buy.
Yeah. My closing thought is going to be I'm excited to do more OLIP in 2022 with you guys.
Aww.
It's been a fun year.
Aww.
It's been a fun year. So I'm glad we were able to, as far as we know, stream every week this year. It was a struggle there for a while, so hopefully we can all stream every week for the next year.
I'm also hoping we can kind of
games.
get back to making more content.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Once I get these deployers out, I may or may not have more time. We'll see. I have to go to work on Monday, even though we're off on Monday because I got somebody going to the airport.
Oh shit.
It's good times. Good times. But once all the deployers leave, crossing my fingers, I have some more time on my hands. So all right, boys.
That's an OLIP.
That's an OLIP.
Thanks for
New
hanging
Year.
out, everybody. Have a happy new year. Stay safe. That's all I have to say.
All right. See you next year. Bye.
Bye.